I'm Weston. I love talking about the Astros, and I'm here to talk about Game 51 of the regular season. The Astros lose in extras, 11-8 to the Padres. Oh my gosh, I'm having a mental breakdown with this team. Okay, my criticisms yesterday, just take away the poor offense, and we're good. We're done. The bullpen's still terrible. The pitching is, oh my god. Okay. The DC characters of Fire and Ice, where I think they're two friends. One of them gets ice powers and one of them gets fire powers. So one of them can, it's basically like a fire bender and a water bender, but from, Canada, basically. If the Astros were a superhero, they would not be a superhero. They would be two of them, and they would be those two, because from any given game, you don't know if they're going to be hot or cold, because apparently the Astros have taken lessons from good old Forrest Gump, that'd be a fun one. Forrest Gump, because apparently the Astros season is like a box of chocolates, and you never know what you're going to get. Okay, so what happened today, you're probably asking, because I sound like a crazy person who has lost his mind, and I kind of have, if I'm being completely honest with you. The Astros had a good game for 8 2/3 innings. The Astros had a good game. The Astros, at one point, had a 6-1 lead in this game. That is the thing that happened. They had a 6-1 lead. You want to go top to bottom? Here we go. Correa had a home run. Chas McCormick would score to make it a 2-0 ball game in the fourth. In the fifth, Chas McCormick had a sacrifice fly. Great. Miles Straw would score. We had a 3-0 lead. Getting kind of hype at this point. Later on in that inning, a double by Bregman. Altuve would move over to third, and Garrett Stubbs made an appearance today. I was super excited about that. He scored to make it a 4-0 Astros lead. Then Tucker reached on a fielding error, which was pretty cool, and Altuve scored to make it a 5-0 ball game. Now after that, Fernando Tatis would ground out, but a run would score, which was not great, but that was only a 5-1 game. And then in the sixth, the Astros had another run come across. Stubbs on a sac bunt got another run. I couldn't think of it there. That's an accurate depiction of my psyche right now. Anyway, at that point it was 6-1 and the Astros had a lead. It was looking good, man. It was looking pretty darn good. And then it just all started to go downhill. After that, Eric Hosmer would single, and Jake Cronenworth would, Manny Machado would score. Cronenworth would move to third. A little bit later on, Will Myers would single, and that would make it a 6-3 Astros lead. And then the ninth. Okay. Before I even get to that point, I feel like I need to talk about some other things. Jake Odorizzi made his comeback today, so that was pretty cool. I thought he had a fantastic game. Jake Odorizzi, his first truly good game as an Astro. 5 1/3 innings, 3 hits, only 1 walk, 1 run given up, but he wasn't the one pitching when that happened. It was Brooks Raley who gave up a hit that allowed the run to score. And he had 4 strikeouts. He got a nice ovation from the crowd when he left. It was a really nice game by Jake Odorizzi. I have no complaints about it. It was great. We were all happy fun time. And then, after that, Raley, like I said, gave up the run. Scrub actually had a decent 2/3 of an inning. Joe Smith came in, and he was pretty decent. Then Presley came in, and he got an out in the 8th to move us to the 9th inning. And I'm mad at so many things, right? I'm mad that this just keeps happening. The Astros seemingly can't find a way to win games. I'm actually not mad at Dusty Baker today, and I'm actually not that mad at Ryan Presley, if I'm being honest with you. Right, so the 9th happens. The 9th inning of horror for the Astros. We get 2 outs in the inning. If I look this way a bit, it's because I'm trying to pay attention to the Toronto Canadiens game, because that's more interesting than what happened today. It was rough. Anyway, so Presley comes in the 8th, gets the out, great. Gets the first 2 outs in the 9th. Great, we're 1 out away. And at this point, we have a 3-run lead. You got 2 outs. I think everyone in the building had pretty much come to the realization, like, all right, we're going to win. That's cool. We get a nice win. We're at the very least going to take, one of the first 2 of the first 2 games. That's great. We're good, right? We're good. We thought. We We are good, we thought. And then Manny Machado draws a walk. We're like, it doesn't matter. It's fine. Like, we're cool, you know. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. We all thought to ourselves. Then Jake Cronenworth would double. And now you start to get a little bit concerned, if you're being honest with yourself, because now you have the tying run at the plate, who is none other than Mr. Fernando Tatis Jr., who pretty good at this whole baseball thing, if we're being honest with each other. This season, I want to pull it up really quickly, he has a 298 batting average and a 377 on base, which is pretty darn good. Incredible for a shortstop, actually. Excuse me. He's walking a decent amount, and he has 14 before this. He had 14 home runs going into this at-bat. And a miracle happens, right? A miracle. You get a pop-up from a very, very good hitter who can make you pay. In Fernando Tatis, great. It's pop up to the first baseman. Well, we're good. Now, was it a bit of a tough one where it kind of wiggled a little bit in the air? Yeah, probably. But Taylor Jones really should have had it. There's no other way to put it. He should have had it. He doesn't. It falls on the ground behind him. And he sort of has a moment laying on the ground like, oh, well, that sucks. And he just kind of picks himself up and dusts himself off. And for like a moment in time, we were like, yeah, it happens. It was just a funny little goof. And then Fernando Tatis Jr. gets a pitch up and in. Now, I want to say, I don't even think this is not a bad pitch by Ryan Presley. I didn't think it was that bad, if I'm being honest with you. This sort of happened, the Will Harris syndrome in Game 7 of 2019 in the World Series, where he allowed a home run to Howie Kendrick that hit the foul pole, and everyone for a moment there hated Will Harris's guts. And I'm like, yeah, he gave up a home run, but that was not a pitch to drive. That was not on Harris. That was the fact that Howie Kendrick just went insane. And this, while not as extreme, is still in the same type of category for me, where I don't necessarily think this was a terrible pitch by Ryan Presley. This was just Fernando Tatis Jr. deciding, hey, I would like to tie the game, just like he did last night, if I'm not mistaken. And then Tatis tattoos one up on the train tracks. It's 6-6. Oh my God. And might I just say, I know it tied the game, and I'm going to sound like a cheap fan by saying this. That was such a cool pose by Tatis, man. He struck a pose. He watched that thing, and that was pretty cool. He had such a... I like seeing that emotion from players. I know it sucked, and I know that would, end up sort of being a thing that would cost us the game. But that was pretty fun to watch him celebrate like that and just be like, yeah, that's right. Pretty cool. I know people are probably going to say, Weston, how can you say that as an Astros fan? That was a play that would allow your team to lose eventually. I don't care. That was just kind of cool how he did that. Okay, then the 9th happened and nothing happened. In the 10th, the Astros did kind of a weird move. After a single, it was first and third with no outs. It was a ground ball to Altuve. He probably could have got the runner at home. I don't know really why he didn't go home with the throw, because if you watch the replay, by the time the ball was in the first baseman Taylor Jones's glove, the runner hadn't touched home plate yet. And yeah, he was kind of jogging home at that point, but still, you could have easily got that runner. I don't know why Altuve didn't go home and went for a double play instead. There are a lot of situations where, yeah, you definitely would trade 2 outs for a run. There's obvious positions for that. But in the 10th, I did not like that move by Altuve too much, if I'm being honest with you. It didn't end up hurting too bad. Then in the 10th, Carlos Correa actually would double. Right? He would score Kyle Tucker. It was great. We tied it up at 7. I'm all happy and cool. Nice. Carlos Correa, clutch. Then the 11th happens, and Machado would single over to Tucker, and a run would score. And at this point, Ryan Stenek was in the game. And now it's another 1-run lead for the Padres. Then the bottom of the 11th. And the Astros would get a run back. It looked like they weren't, but Chas McCormick would draw a walk, a bad pitch on his 4th ball. And Miles Straw, who's a speedy boy, runs home pretty fast. And now you tie it at 8. And at this moment, I kind of said to myself, even if we win the game, we don't deserve to win the game. Because this was just... Oh, man, this was a rough game. Then the 12th happened. Will Myers homers. Tatis would score. Cronenworth would score. And the pitcher was Ralph Garcias. And I want to say this about his debut, because this is the first game he's ever pitched in. I feel really, really bad for him because I didn't think he was terrible. The walk was an intentional walk that they made him do, so I don't really put that on him necessarily. Again, I just feel bad that this was the position he was forced into. And I'm not mad at him for giving up the 3-run home run because he should have never been in this position to begin with. I'm not mad at Dusty for putting him in this position because look at our bullpen. Like, who else do you have to go to? You had already used Belak, Stanek, Presley, Scrub, Rayleigh, and Smith. Like, who else do you have to go to? Like, maybe Abreu, but he pitched yesterday. Like, I get why he said, you know what? Our bullpen's been horrid. Like, why are we bothering? Let's go with someone new. But let's just try it with this kid. And I'm honestly not even mad at Dusty for that. Like, why not? Our bullpen's been pathetic. So that happens. He would get the loss, which I think sucks for him. And that would be 11-8. And the Astros couldn't really do anything in the bottom of the 11th. I don't think, did they move the runner over to third? I think they did. But man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. This is the worst game of the year for the Astros, or one of the worst losses. I'm not going to say it's the worst game, because they've looked worse. But this was a soul-crushing, heart-ripping out of chest, I don't know how to make words sound normal, game where the Astros had no right to lose. The Astros should have 100% won this game. The pitching is, in a way, the Astros offense and pitching are like working against each other. Because yesterday, the offense was horrid. And you might say, well, listen, they gave up 7 runs in the 11th inning. Isn't that on pitching? And I say, yeah, that's on pitching. Going 2 extra innings because you scored 2 runs in the first 9 innings because your pitchers were fantastic. No, that's on the offense. Right? So yesterday our offense was horrible. Today our offense does pretty decent, actually. 6 runs, a run and a half over MLB average, 8 in the whole game. That's pretty darn good. 8 runs should win you some games. And the pitching falls apart because we have no bullpen. Simply because we decided not to address it in the offseason, which I think is... Oh, I don't understand why we did not address bullpen in the offseason. And it's seemingly stranger and stranger as it goes along, because as much as I like Michael Brantley, it really seems like bullpen was the way to go for the Astros in the offseason. Like, I really think that would have been what we should have done at this point. And I know you can say, well, West in hindsight's 2020. I don't care. You look at the bullpen last year, it was a miracle that it was as good as it was. And now we're in that boat again, but now all the players that overachieved in the bullpen last year are not overachieving this year, which means you have basically 3 good bullpen arms this season, and one of them is currently on the IL, and Kent Emanuel. Like, the 2 good ones, I would say, are probably Presley and Stanek, and the rest of them are, hot or cold. This was another rough game for the Astros. They should have won this game. There's no reason they shouldn't have. It was just... By the way, I don't know if I said this. I'm not even mad at Presley because, A, that wasn't a bad pitch. But I also want to say he worked yesterday, and I think this was like his 30th pitch that he gave it up on. I don't know why they did such a close-up of Carey Price's butt on the replay. I don't know. I'm just getting entertained by anything other than this game. That's it. I don't want to talk about this anymore. It was rough. It was a bad game. We're going to be facing Snell tomorrow versus Greinke on the mound at 2:10 Eastern, 1:10 Central Astros time. And then Monday, guess what? Knock, knock. It's not going to get easier. We face Boston. This is going to be rough, man. Okay. So that's all I have to say. Sorry that I haven't been as upbeat and jumpy and fun the last few days, but man, oh man, oh man, this is rough for the Astros recently. That's all I got to say. Thank you all so very much for watching. Hope you all have an absolutely fantastic day, and do yourself a favor, watch some playoff hockey, because that's what's keeping me sane right now, because it sure isn't the Astros. Anyway, even in games like this, go Astros.